how changing this lifestyle has helped him improving his health. And Dipali, I want to question about how has she found her creative occupation. So can you share how was your life before you made this lifestyle change?
I am Samir Gaonkar, and like Sai pointed out, I basically have been in technical writing for, I guess, the past 23 years. I've been in IT for around 27 years. I'm currently leading a team of technical writers here at Google, Bangalore. And that's, I just joined the company like around a couple of months back. So that's on the professional side. Personal side, we have, we shifted to Bangalore like around 4 years back. And before that, we were in Pune for close to 32 years. I'm basically from Goa, so I was born there and spent some time of my life there. And then because of my father's transferable job, we just moved around. But essentially, until 2001, I did not have any big health issues. The usual smaller things that were there used to be there, but there was no specific big problem that I faced. In 2001, I changed over my profession from being an entrepreneur to I joined a startup. And that's where I started to get into this loop of not really paying attention to my health. It was a new company. I was basically, giving that company everything that I had. And I used to do like 24 to 36-hour work days, sort of, just staying in the company overnight, to go in the morning and then come evening the next day. And that meant that I wasn't really paying attention to my health. And one fine day, I ate some pani puri, in a stall near our company. And from that point onwards, I don't know, just my health started spiraling down. So it started with hepatitis, but in 2004, I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease. So this came out of the blue. This is what is called as myasthenia gravis. People usually don't know it's a relatively rare autoimmune thing. But the only sort of significance there is that Amitabh Bachchan has it. So, whenever people relate to it, that's the only thing I can say. But that's essentially a functional disorder related to your muscles. So your muscles pretty much, all your voluntary muscles, pretty much stop working. So there are basic activities that you cannot do if the disease really advances. So I also unfortunately had a tumor associated with it, which is very rare. But that led to a major surgery that I had to undergo, and that recovery process took some time. But again, from that point of time onwards, the health just started going downhill. So illness after illness started cropping up. I went through chikungunya, I had swine flu. There was this herpes zoster thing. Sorry,
Appendix.
appendix operation. So I just can't even remember now how much hospital visits. There were panic attacks, anxiety. It was horrible, and this was like in the prime time of my life. And then from that point onwards, I was continuously looking at other options. What can I do to make positive changes to my health, right? So that was something that I was continually trying to understand. Um, how did I decide to make the change? Essentially, this experience kind of was a eye opener, because obviously when you come so close to knowing that you can cross over to the other side and your life is gone, I think it fundamentally changes something in you. So one of the things that I was trying to do is essentially try and get information. What can I do? To basically see how I can change my health, right? So when I, like in Pune, while there is some conscious sort of focus on health in general, in the public, I felt that after coming to Bangalore, I saw a lot of emphasis on organic food and stuff like that. And I started following Farmisen, and that's where I got introduced to Sai's webinar. So that was the first webinar that I attended, and it was in a sense eye-opening. Sai has that wonderful platform on Farmisen where she keeps on answering questions. She never sort of shies away from that, and that was a good introduction. And after that, when we attended one of her another free webinars, we got to know about the 3-week program that she has. So both Dipali and I subscribed, and I think that was the fundamental sort of a foundational change that happened. So this was not easy, obviously, right? I mean, this journey has not been easy. And this somewhere started just about the time we went into the corona phase when the lockdown started. And somewhere in April, I think in May is when I think we did the program. But from that point onwards, the whole journey started. And fortunately or unfortunately, I was out of a job at that point of time, but which meant that I had a lot more time on my hands. So I could focus on my health. Until that, 3.5 years, I was extremely busy with what I was doing. So this was a good break in one sense. I think from a challenge perspective, what I would like to highlight is that first is mindset. I think it all starts with how you look at things, right? And we have things like a fixed mindset and a growth mindset and stuff like that, right? Management concepts. But I think if you're willing to change your mindset, then you can see a lot of things that can happen in a positive way. The second challenge was this is something you cannot do on your own, right? There has to be a support system around you. Now, initially, like even Dipali was not entirely convinced. And I think when she did the 3-week course, that's when slowly, even her mindset started to change. But the challenge also was that we live in a joint family. I have my parents, who live with me. They're senior citizens, and you cannot expect them to change, right? So there are certain expectations in terms of how the food will be cooked and all those kinds of things. So it's a challenge when you have to do different things for different people. So ideally, you want to sort of do it all for one family. So that was another challenge. And I think just sort of looking at this as a diet really doesn't help. I think you have to look at as a lifestyle. Personally, I don't like the diet word. Whatever you eat is your diet, right? So when people sort of talk about it like a diet being a specific set of things you can or cannot eat, I don't subscribe to that idea. So I look at it more as a lifestyle change, which is more sustainable rather than getting into this sort of topical things.
Yeah, Samir, just to interrupt you a little bit.
Sure.
So now we got the picture, like,
Yeah.
you had some health issues and then you attended the program. And before that, only you had started reading about all this.
Correct.
But I know that you all used to eat non-vegetarian food.
Yes.
People
Yes.
used to cook non-veg food and enjoy
Yeah.
everyone at home. So how did everyone take it, and including your parents, relatives, because you have a huge extended family also.
Yeah.
So how did you manage to stick to it apart from, regardless of the opposition or whatever challenges you got from the family members?
Yeah, so great question, Sai. So yeah, like because we are Goans, fish is sort of a staple diet for us. And we have been like, for the last so many years, we have grown up eating fish, and that's something that we have, right? So it was hard initially, but I think, like I said, the change in mindset and the 3-week program is something that really helped us. I would definitely recommend this to everybody, whoever is thinking of making any sort of change to the lifestyle. If you have already done the program, I think it's worth doing it again. But doing this in a group, I think definitely helps. So I think that was the first impetus. The second, in terms of family, I think we didn't get into the business of trying to convince it in others, right? So our focus was okay. We'll just continue with the lifestyle that they are used to, but we'll start making these smaller changes that I think are more sustainable in the long term. So from the smaller changes, we moved on to the bigger changes. And because both Dipali and I were sort of bought into the idea, I think between us we were able to plan and sort of make sure that we were doing this in the right way. So because we were not forcing this on others, or we were not really evangelizing this in a very aggressive way to others, I think others did not have much of an opposition, right? There were of course suggestions that if you're not eating oil, like where will you get the fat from, or if you're not eating sugar, where will you get the glucose from, stuff like that. But I think that we were able to take care. So I think these two things really helped us.
Great. Um, yeah, so Monica is asking, what were the changes you saw immediately after the 2020 challenge? And then you can maybe explain in the long run, like from May till now, what are the changes you have seen?
Sure. So I think the immediate change was that, these are the smaller things that you tend to notice, right? For example, your energy levels, right? Your sleep patterns. Then things like, your cravings. I think these were the things that I immediately saw, not immediately, but maybe towards the end of the 21-day program. That's what I started noticing, that I love desserts, and the sugar cravings were definitely going down. My energy levels, in spite of eating vegetables and thinking that, where I'm going to get my protein from and stuff like that, weren't really going down. So I think these were the immediate changes that I noticed. On a long term basis, what has happened in the last 10 months or so, I think I've definitely, one thing that was very apparent to me, and I think it was apparent to Deepali as well, because this is something is very noticeable, that uh, sometimes I have these drooping eyes, which is related to the disorder that I talked about. So you can literally see my eyes sort of drooping down. And after changing over, after some time, I actually saw a change in that. So I wasn't actually having it as severe as an issue as I used to have earlier. So that was one positive change. And then the overall energy and everything continued to be there. I always used to like running and stuff like that, but because of this, I wasn't really able to do anything. But I'm happy to say, now I'm able to run 5 kilometers comfortably. I recently did a 10-kilometer run, which is huge for me. It's not that great. People do marathons and stuff. But I think from my perspective, just being able to do exercise is great, because, there are instances where people are bedridden. So I think I at least associate with a causation or even a correlation effect, that I think the lifestyle that I adopted in the last 10 months has had some, or maybe all of the impact on me, being here right now. Of course, this is not perfect. I don't cannot claim that I'm doing it 100%, but I think there's been a positive change.
No, amazing. I mean, if you can run 10 kilometers, it's a great feat, because many of us, even 15 minutes running, 500 meters running, we don't go for it. First of all, we get lazy. That is another part of it. But in spite of having the health condition, running 10 kilometers is just great. So, do you want to say, do you want to share something more about autoimmune diseases, so that, maybe
Sure.
maybe many people don't have this particular condition, but
Exactly.
we know so many people who have some or the other autoimmune disorder. So, I know you have done extensive research also. So, anything you would like to share? Yeah.
Sure. So autoimmune, the basic definition is that your immune system is basically attacking you, right? So your immune system is meant to protect you from pathogens, from anything, any foreign particles that enter your body, and all those kinds of things, right? But when your immune system starts mistaking your own, organs, or your basically own cells as enemies, then it will start to attack certain parts of the body. Now, depending upon where that attack happens, there are hundreds of autoimmune diseases that are classified. So there's multiple sclerosis, there's lupus, there's myasthenia gravis, lots of different things, right? Even rheumatoid arthritis is classified as autoimmune disease, right? So there is no guarantee. I mean, there's a lot of research that has happened on autoimmune, but scientists still cannot say why it happens, right? So I think if you go back to nature cure, I think say you might be able to explain it in a better way. But if you just go back to basic principles, right? If your body is functioning against you, then there is something fundamentally that is wrong. And it may or may not be caused by something external. This could be totally internal, right? There is a balance that has completely gone awry, whack, which is maybe why that is happening. But rather than get into like why the autoimmune disease happens, I think once it happens, it's more like what can you do about it, right? So for people who do not have a major health conditions, my advice has always been, I think it's never late to start, right? If you can take care of your health, nothing like it. For those who already have something like an autoimmune, I think if you change your lifestyle, that's what you can do. Modern medicine does not have a cure for autoimmune. They can only manage it. I'm still taking medicines for that. But when I was initially diagnosed, I was taking steroids, and you just go through a horrible time with steroids and stuff like that. So you just have to make sure that you're doing the right things, and I think slowly your body then starts to heal. And once it starts to heal internally, I think you see a lot of changes, which can sometimes be even dramatic as well. So yeah, can't hear you. I think why we
Yeah,
are.
sorry. So yeah, thank you so much. So what we are saying is lifestyle change in all possible ways. As we say in 21 days, eat right, think right,
Totally, totally,
move right,
exactly,
everything. So we don't have to go behind those symptoms and
exactly.
find out, oh, okay, because there are so many confusing research papers,
Yes,
and medical doctors in terminologies, they really confuse us. Oh, zinc is, maybe you're deficient in zinc or vitamin this. So we don't have to go behind that single nutrient. As you are saying, just keep working on the lifestyle change. And it is so motivating that, if you can run 10 kilometers, then so many of us are feeling motivated to at least start running a kilometer from tomorrow. So
Yeah, yeah.
thank you
No,
so
thanks.
much.
Thanks
Um,
for that. I just like to, say one thing, which is that, I think like you can start making the change. It doesn't matter even if it is a small change. I think, those small changes basically add on to something bigger, right? And one of the things with modern medicine is that a lot of doctors do not have formal education in nutrition, right? Nutrition as a subject is never taught to doctors. So I wouldn't completely go with what, modern medicine doctors, you might take treatment for whatever you have, but I think it's good to do your own research and see, what the evidence is around you, especially on a whole food plant based kind of a diet. I think that's the fundamental. You need to educate yourself and not just rely only on medicines to make you feel well, right? I think that's the fundamental.
Yes, very true. And all of us have realized that only nobody can help us,
Yes,
especially in
yes,
COVID times. Even your spouse can't come and help you if you are positive. Okay. So
yeah,
only you are responsible for your own health, and you do whatever it needs. Read about it, take help from the
correct.
experts, and just make yourself equipped. And knowledge is there everywhere. You just have to ask and go for it. Right?
Completely.
So
In fact, joining a community helps. There's a Facebook group called as Runners Over 50. And you see people like 65, 70, 80 years old, running actually half marathons and marathons. So if you actually get involved in a community, it's so inspiring. So I think you are absolutely right. And the last thing I'll say is that you talked about, think right, move right, eat right, and rest right, right? So one of the fundamental things if you are going on this journey is to make sure that your mindset changes through something like think right, right? And we were doing this Sudarshan Kriya and we were visiting the ashram and all of that. And I think that sort of gave us the additional impetus to stay on this path. So I would definitely say that don't look at this just as, food journey. This is not just about food. Once you start thinking beyond that, right, and you start looking at it as a lifestyle, you incorporate other aspects, I think it really works wonders.
yes, yes, excellent. I mean, that is very important summary. That think right, which will make you eat right. It is always like
Absolutely.
that. Once you set it in the mind, once you decide, then you can go for that eat right program. So thank you so much, Samir. First you tell us how you decided to first make this change into whole food plant-based diet, being a hardcore non-vegetarian person. That is the first question. What motivated you to make that change, sustain it, and then think about making it as your creative occupation? So, yeah.
First thing about Samir's health, it was deteriorating, and that's because of this, all the stress was coming, and I was putting up a lot of weight. And whenever I used to get depressed or anxiety, I used to eat. That is what because being foodie by nature, I used to, my depression was controlled by food, and I was putting lot of weight from 55. After delivery, it was 73, and after that, I went to 80, and this stress was going and it was also deteriorating my health, and after 40s it started like sliding down. In 2015 I was detected pneumonia. Then 2016 I slipped down in bathroom because of my improper leg movement, and I had hairline fracture in my spine. And then 2016 chikungunya, and it was just going down. For chikungunya, I couldn't walk for 3 months. I couldn't drive car, I couldn't sit on a scooter, and it was just sliding down. And that is where I thought that I should do something for my health. uh, Now and then I was there were small problems like cold, then cough problem. And so Samir one day told me, you just, there's one lady called Sai Bapat, and she takes some seminar. So you just check on what I have recorded and you just go on that website and check. So I said, who is this Sahi Bhapat and what new she's going to tell me? I went there, I saw it, and I was little bit, I was convinced, but I told him, see, I don't know how I'm going to cook without oil, and I'm not going to leave fish. First thing I'm going to tell you. So he said, okay. So I said, how are we going to do tadka without oil? So he said, Google and just check how will do that. And slowly then, at the same time, I also started doing Sudarshan Kriya. And I think that was the point when my mind started accepting all these things. That is what I think. And then slowly I did 7 days program. I was convinced that now I can do cooking without oil. And being foodie by nature, I don't like to eat same thing every day, like dal, chawal, sabzi. I want something different. Even my daughter wants something different. Even Samir is foodie, but he eats whatever is there in the plate. But I am not like that. No, my cravings are a bit different. So, so I started Google. I used to Google and I used to find some recipes. But what I saw is that most of them were not Indian, but they were based outside India, where you get everything ready made, like all the paste and everything. And they are also processed. So I thought, why not try something? And at that time, I didn't know what combinations will work or what will work. So I started studying it and I started practicing on that. And I started getting it right. So I think destiny was also one part of it. So where like husband issue was there, then my health issue was there, my weight issue was there, and I in fact had done many diets also. I did keto, I did many diets, but it used to reduce very quickly, and then again I used to start putting back. And I had this issue of what will happen about the protein. My muscles are very weak, and I should get protein. So all this was not answered at that time. After 7 days, I was convinced that maybe I'll be able to do this diet. After 21 days, I was fully convinced. But at that point, I did not lose any weight. But after 1 month, I lost 3 kgs. And then subsequently, I started losing weight. And now I've literally lost around 11 to 12 kgs.
Great, wonderful. Thank you, Dipali, for sharing that. Now I want to ask you that you keep telling me that you are technologically challenged. Okay, but now if I look at your work, that you are creating your own online workshops. You are working on the recipe. You are video shooting it. You are editing it yourself. You are coming up with recipe booklet. You are coming up with flyers. So we can't call you technologically challenged anymore, right? So to learn all this, it's not easy for me to shoot one recipe. I keep postponing it. No, I don't want, let it, I'll do it on Sunday if someone is there to help me. So what is that drive? What drives you? Because it is a lot of efforts. You take 5-6 hours to shoot the recipe, then you take equal amount of time to edit it, right? And so what drives you to take so much effort and go out of your comfort zone? uh, so that is what I guess Ikigai is all about, right? You are passionate about it, and so you don't find it difficult.
Yeah,
So
right. And you get lot of satisfaction. That satisfaction you can't, if even if you get that lot of money, that you can't compare it with that satisfaction. So I think satisfaction, what I get from this, is what drives me. And of course, Samir is also very supportive, and he says, "No, I'm not going to photograph this dish. You see what you want to do." Then I have to do it. If he's busy with his work, then he will say that you have to become independent. You don't have to depend on me. That is what I have to then go and shoot the. I just, even if I ask him for the help of setting camera, then he says, no, you do it yourself. Maybe you'll go wrong first time, then you redo it, and then if you want some help, I'll do it. So
he is
that's how I
excellent
started
mentor.
learning.
He is great mentor. I know he has already taught you everything. Now he he wants you to just deliver.
Yeah, yeah.
Excellent,
So he's
excellent.
doing extended manager giri even at home.
Yeah, no, but amazing. I mean, just to imagine this, ki you like cooking. There are so many of us who like cooking, right? So many of us who are experimenting in the kitchen, but very few are able to take this step of coming up with online workshop with all the videos in it. And I remember you were not very comfortable in front of camera when
Yeah.
we started FB Live. So that takes great guts and efforts and that willingness to, whatever happens, I'm going to do it. So, and I think once you find that creative occupation, once you find that passion, then all the things just happen. Then you
And
don't
Sai,
think,
it was not only about me, but it was also about you. How you never forced me to do anything. Like you slowly sailed me and you slowly asked me to do it separately, like on my own. Initially, you were there for 2, 3 months. I think initially 2, 3 months we were doing it together. So you're also a very good mentor. And
yeah,
sometimes, I actually felt like I should run away. Initially, for some few FB
yeah,
lives, I actually felt that I should run away because I was not comfortable talking to people, especially online. Maybe I'm not comfortable to whom I don't know very well.
yeah. To comment Dipali on the generosity with which she shares her knowledge. Yes, and her recipes are absolutely wonderful. Yes, no.
But say, I think I was destined to do this. It's like there were so many things which went one by one, and it was not, I think Corona, Sami left the job, and all those things.
Hmm.
Uh, I learned so many things in 9, 10 months. This absolutely changed my life, my perspective towards life.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Wonderful. Thanks to Corona, so many of us
Yeah,
have
literally,
changed.
it was school for us actually.
Yes, yes, your destiny is the good luck of the sea tribe. Yes, it's Monica is saying. So yeah, you keep mentioning about destiny, but unless you show the effort and unless you grab that opportunity, destiny is not very important. Okay, so yeah, so now what are your plans, Dipali? Going ahead, how do you want to take it forward?
First thing that I would like to go into production with the ladies who are needy, like establishing something like Mahila Graha Udyog.
Mm, yeah,
Many of us we don't get time to make healthy snacks. So I think that is a good idea. Even the needy people, they learn something and they can also stand on their own feet. And then this is the main thing which I would like to do in next 6, 7 months. And basically, again, I would like to come to the point that all the recipes on internet are basically uh, a lot of research has been done by foreigners, not by Indians. So we don't have much recipes which are Indian influenced. So I
yeah,
just want to try out some. Like as I told you, there are some Goan recipes which has Portuguese influence. So I just was thinking, so why not club it with pizza or sandwich or something? Because
yeah.
without non-veg, that is not possible. But
Mm,
so there are so many things, so many projects which they come into my mind, but I can't do it all because of I am having a joint family. So taking up time is also a big challenging thing for me. So slowly I'll do it, but I have so many things to do basically so that I can help Indian people to cook better, and that mindset of cooking without oil should go away completely.
great, great. So I had one question. Explain your day, Dipali, because when I just think you are cooking for everyone at home and you are shooting a recipe and you are editing it. So how does your day look like? Or as Monica is asking, how are you managing your extended
So I'll
family
answer both the
while doing
questions.
all these?
Yeah. So if there is FV live that day, that is Tuesday, so I get up at 5 o'clock. That day we don't have yoga class, so I save 1 hour on that. So by 9 o'clock, I finish preparing my breakfast for my in-laws and lunch. And then after that, I make preparation for every live. Then 11 I go live. Then after 11:30 I go to my drawing class. I learn drawing. So from there I come back 1:30. After that I take my lunch. Post lunch I do some office work, and then evening again I have to cook something, or maybe we go for a walk or so. So that is how I manage the whole day. And the other thing is that I started with small changes, like fruit or soup salad was not issue for me. I like that. So that was not a only thing is that how to incorporate. So in a challenge was that the food which I prepare for both of us and in-law should be same. So Govind recipes they gave came to came to my rescue, because all the Goan recipes are basically based with coconut. So I started with preparing gravy dishes. So it was easy for my in-laws also, and it was easy for me also. So I designed the menu such a way so that they'll be also comfortable with that food, and we will also be comfortable with that. That's how I made the changes. There were small changes, but initially only tadka part was there. That also they didn't come to know that I'm not using oil. After a few days, I disclosed that I'm not using oil. But the breakfast was there.